The SPAC craze, the special purpose acquisition companies, publicly traded but with few operations and assets to speak of. Where does it go from here, do you think?
Good morning, Anna. Thank you for inviting me back. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Listen, I think public and private markets are more and more intertwined, and we've seen a lot of investors turning to private markets in search of yields, and that's more on the credit side, of course, and in search of growth, and that's more on the equity side. SPACs is not a new phenomenon. It's more a U.S. one than a European one, obviously. What I think is very interesting for the markets that we focus on and the private side is that it provides with new exit opportunities to companies. And where does it go from there? There's a lot of SPACs that have been raised. I think there's a lot of focus on both sides, and there's scarcity value because a lot of them are chasing similar transactions, which is why I think they go into more and more earlier stage company, which is an interesting trend.
So is there just that much money out there, Isabelle, or is the problem that, debt yields are so low and, expectations for stock gains are, well, there's volatility expectations there. I mean, does this just make more sense because we've all been pushed so far out the risk spectrum?
Good question, Matt. I think, 80% of fixed income assets yield 2% or less. So finding yield is a difficult exercise for investors, and we know that yield will stay lower for longer. And then I think, so investors will look for yields, as I said, and investors are trying to bank on trends that will accelerate in the future, so more long-term trends. And to find disruptions, you have to go into the private market with early, more disruptive companies in order to be able to capitalize on that.
Where is private capital flowing to most easily, Isabelle? Is it in the sectors that you might expect at this point, the healthcare, the fintech, the communication spaces? Are they proving to be hot properties?
Yeah, clearly anything that investors think will benefit from changes, long-term changes in our lifestyle, and where changes will be the largest. So the one that you name, healthcare, clearly. I think green tech is also going to be a clear area of focus with the green stimulus from the EU of 1.85 trillion over the next 7 years. That will have a large impact, and I think that also responds to more awareness and shift in consumer trends. Fintech, cloud-based technology, 5G, all of these long-term trend drivers have been the one receiving cash for sure. And I think you mentioned Tech IPO earlier, and the way that they've performed is also being positively supportive of that trend.
All right. I wonder, when you look at this being more of an American trend, we see names like Billy Beane and Bill Ackman. How much of it is coming here with people like Sergio Armati?
Good question. I think in Europe we see more and more interest. I think in general, I would say that there's a lot more U.S. money, be it SPAC related or not, that's coming towards European opportunities and European tech more specifically. There's a focus that I think we have very good companies that have shown to be resilient and that have been probably less expensive than U.S. ones. So in that search of value and growth, Europe is attracting foreign money.
All right, Isabelle, thanks so much for joining us. Fascinating top. Yeah?
Sorry, I was just going to say Europe is still a third of U.S. funding, so we've got a long way to go, and it's great to see that we're attracting more interest.